Hi guys, Darby here. We're back with another chapter of Meeting of the Minds by LizzeXX. We are currently on chapter 25, which is the first part for the Idiot Lantern episode. And if you want to follow along, the chapter link will be in the description below. As always, which I highly do recommend. It will have both archive and fanfiction.net. There's not really any difference, except that archive has like a picture of Angel in the episode, like one per episode. So, yeah. Again, highly recommend you follow along with the chapter. Plus, it'll be easier for you to leave a review or kudos or a comment. Which, again, highly do recommend you do that. Show the author some love. But yeah, let's just get right into this, shall we, with chapter 25 The Idiot's Lantern, a London and New York. Mr. Magpie, owner of Magpie is Electrical, sat at a desk one night, trying and failing to balance his accounts. Orchestrations were arranged by Sir Rodney Fenning, and Dame Eve English is a member of the King's Lynn Players, a woman stated on a program running on one of his TVs behind him. So tune in again next week for more from the What's My Line team. And that brings us to the end of programming for today. So, from all of us here at Alexandria Palace, a very good night. Magpie sat up and sighed as the program ended. £200 overdrawn, he muttered, as God Save the Queen played in the background. He tore out a page from his ledger and tossed it away. I need a miracle. Young Tommy Connolly sat on the sofa of his sitting room, his ground on an armchair by the wall, while his mother sewed by the window. He's a cautious, that one, his mother laughed, listening to the radio. He does make me laugh. Oh, our lord and master, Bran remarked with a smile as Tommy's father entered. Rita, I'm off, he called to his wife as he straightened his tie and checked the war medals on his chest. Dad? Tommy looked up at him, lifting his pamphlet of radio enthusiastics to him, an advert for a TV on it. Oh, how many times, son? We'll see. But everyone's getting a telly, Dad. Even Mr. Gallagher. And the bells at number 67. Well, perhaps we'll get one for the coronation, his father reasoned, as Tommy grinned. If you're lucky. He pointed a finger at his son as his wife turned and smiled. We'll see. He ruffled his son's hair before turning to his wife. No way up. He stepped out of the room, leaving the woman and his son to their discussions. I heard they rot your brains, Gran told Tommy in reference to the TV. Drop them into soup, and your brain comes pouring out of your ears. That's what television does. Magpie slept, face down at the counter, right on top of his ledger, when a bright red bolt of electricity struck his TV aerial. One of the TVs behind him blinking on, the woman from the program on the screen once more. Mr. Magpie, the woman called. Oh, Mr. Magpie. Magpie stirred, blinking blearily as he sat up. Eh? Yoo-hoo! Can you hear me, Magpie? Yes? He began suspiciously, turning to see the woman smiling at him. I must be dreaming. Oh no, this isn't a dream. I'm going too early then. Not at all, sweetheart. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin. 3 bolts of red electricity flashed out from the television onto his face, the woman laughing while Magpie shouted in agony, his face being pulled towards the screen. Rose stepped out of the TARDIS, dressed in a pair of hot pink high-heeled shoes, black stockings, and a bright pink poofy skirt. She fixed her jean jacket and brushed a piece of hair behind her ear, just smoothing out her 50s outfit as she looked around. I thought we'd be going for the Vegas era. You know, the white flares and the, she growled, smirking in thought, chest hair. The doctor stuck his head out of the TARDIS doors, his hair gelled back in a Teddy Boy style. You are kidding, aren't you? You want to see Elvis? You go in the late 50s, the time before burgers. He disappeared back inside, when they called him the pelvis and he still had a waist. Rose just laughed. What's more, you see him in style. A moment later, the doctor rode out the TARDIS on a blue late 50s moped, followed by Angel on another one. Rose laughed in amusement as the doctor stopped, wearing big sunglasses and a white helmet. Angel pulled her own light blue helmet off to look at him as well. She had gone a slightly different route than Rose in terms of dress, deciding on a light blue 50s housewife theme. She had three-quarter length, sleeve dress on that seemed like a robe in the front, but only until the empire waist, a white belt, and a flowing skirt that went down to her knees. She had white heels on and white gloves, as well as a pearl necklace to complete the look. Her hair up in a French twist instead of simply clipped back as it normally was. "You going my way, doll?" the doctor asked Angel, winking at her as he put on an Elvis accent. She was just stunning in her outfit of choice. She really had taken to her promise to dress for the times. Even got Rose to agree to it for this trip. They disappeared into the TARDIS an hour ago and hadn't emerged till only moments ago. He thought Rose's outfit suited her, 50s with a hint of spunk. But Angel's, his heart stopped when he saw her. It was just so her. Modest, yet flattering. Simple, yet fashionable. Typical, yet unique. He had to admit his heart gave a rather strong thump when they started working again at the thought she dressed the part of a housewife. Emphasis on the wife. Her appearance gave the impression that she was a respectable woman and taken, not as flirty as Rose's. He appreciated that because then all the world, without even realizing it, would know she was his. He actually surprised himself at the thought that she was his, he was hers, and there, and that was the way it was meant to be. No one in the universe would change that. He wouldn't let them. He would never let anyone hurt her. He loved her too much to see her harm. And he blinked, realizing something. With all the mess with the cybers and then Mickey's departure, he hadn't told Angel what he'd been meaning to say after they met Renette. That he loved her. He was certain she knew already, but he wanted to say it. To hear her say it in return. He smiled and decided that he would see if he could get Elvis to sing an I Love You So for them, and right at the end tell Angel that he loved her. That would be perfect. He was practically buzzing to get out there and find the man. She laughed and gestured to the moped. Couldn't go anywhere else, she smiled, making a beam and blow a kiss to her. What about you? He turned to Rose, who was smiling softly at them, happy to see Angel smiling again. Mickey's departure had hurt them both badly, though. She suspected none of them more than Angel. She had truly grown attached to her companion, loved him in her own way, as a pilot always did their companion, and missed him terribly already. She supposed it also didn't help that, while Angel had lost her companion, the Doctor hadn't lost his, and the Time Lady was forced to see him still with his companion, while hers was lost to another world. Not that Angel would ever wish that on the Doctor or anyone. Still, she tried her best to make the Time Lady feel better, sticky more with her on the last few adventures, reminding her that even though Mickey was gone, she still had her, and that it didn't matter whether or not she was Angel's companion, she was still the girl's friend. The same as it had been when Mickey had been Angel's companion, but Angel had remained her friend. "Is there any other way to go, Daddy-O?" Rose asked, putting on a pair of pink sunglasses. "Straight for the fridge, man." Angel laughed, putting on her helmet again as the Doctor tossed Rose a light pink one of her own. "I couldn't understand a word of that," she told Rose. "Must be speaking the lingo, eh?" Rose nodded. "Yeah, well, me, Mum, Cliff Richard's movies every bank holiday Monday," she added, sitting behind the Doctor on his moped. "Ah, Cliff," the Doctor nodded. "I knew your mother would be a Cliff fan." "Nope," Angel shook her head. "Still no idea who he is." Before she blinked and smiled. "Can we go meet him after we see Elvis?" The Doctor laughed and nodded. "Anything for you." He smiled at her, making Angel blush and Rose "Aw." He beamed happily at that, pleased with himself for getting that out of her. He knew Angel missed Mickey as well, and he was doing all he could to cheer her up. Whatever she asked, he'd do, no matter what. But it was more than that, though. That feeling had originated long before Mickey the Companion had even been an idea in Angel's mind. He truly would do anything for her. They both drove off down the street, keeping equal distance alongside each other. "Where are we off to?" Rose shouted over the engines. "Ed Sullivan's TV studio. Elvis did Hound Dog on one of the shows. There are loads of complaints. Bit of luck, we'll just catch it." And that'll be the TV studios in what? New York? That's the one. Suddenly, a red London double-decker bus drove past them at the end of the street. The doctor stopped and looked around to see strings of Union flags hanging everywhere. Taking that New York vibe, Rose laughed. Well, this could still be New York. I mean, this looks very New York to me. Sort of a London New York? Angel raised an eyebrow at him, amused. What are all the flags for? Rose asked, eyeing them. Tommy's parents sat in their sitting room watching their new television, far less confused than they ought to have been, as Muffin the Mule began to play. Smashing! Mr. Connolly stood up. Smashing, innit? You'd have thought they was in the room with you, eh? Fair dues, Tommy. You had a boy. You television. There. That should cheer you up a bit, Rita. Give us a smile then, eh? I can't, she whispered sadly. Nothing to say anymore. Not with her. Stop going on about it. But her face, Eddie. Rita looked at him, heartbroken. What happened to her? That awful face. I said stop it. There was a series of taps coming from the room above, and they all looked up. She's awake, Rita breathed, glancing at her son. I think she's hungry. Magpie threw open the doors of his van as two errand boys pulled a television out and carried it into a house. As the owner of said house looked on, pleased. There you go, sir. All wired up for the great occasion. Magpie smiled. The doctor and Angel walked over, arm in arm, as Rose walked with them. The great occasion? The doctor called, sliding his arms from around Angel's waist to her hand. What do you mean? Where you been living? Out in the colonies? Coronation, of course. What coronation's that, then? What do you mean? Magpie laughed. The coronation. The Queen's? Rose hissed at him. Queen Elizabeth's. Oh! The doctor's eyebrows shot up. Oh! Is this 1953? June the 1st, Angel muttered to be exact. The doctor glanced over to see her staring intently at Magpie, who had noticed as well, and fidgeted under her gaze. Something wrong, dearie? The man asked, laughing a bit. Something on my face? No, she shook her head, frowning. Nothing. There's nothing there. The doctor frowned. Something about her words seemed off. Like she wasn't just commenting about the appearance of his face, but his actual face. Though, while his attention was focused on Angel, hers was on Magpie as he visibly stiffened at her words, his eyes wide. Look at all the TV aerials, Rose cut in, looking around. Look like everyone's got one. That's weird. My nan said Daddies were so rare they all had to pile into one house. Not around here, love. Magpie smiled, thankful for the change of topic, breathing a little easier. Magpie's marvellous tellies, only £5 a box. The doctor looked around at the house, thinking, before suddenly smiling. Oh, but this is a brilliant year! Classic! He turned to Angel, beaming as he took both her hands in his, squeezing them in excitement. Technicolor? He kissed her left hand. Everest climbed, and then her right. Everything off the ration, and then pulled her closer to kiss her completely, positively grinning as he pulled away. The nation throwing off the shadows of war and looking forward to a happier, brighter future. Rose and Angel laughed at that when someone screamed, Someone help me, please! A woman called, rushing out of her house. Ted! They looked over to see a man with a blanket over his head being pushed back into the back of a police car by two large, official-looking men. Leave him alone! It's my husband! What's going on? The doctor asked as they ran over. Oi! What are you doing? Tommy shouted, running out of his house as well at the noise. Police business. Now get out of the way, sir, the head of the police stated before getting into his car. Who did they take? Do you know him? Rose asked the boy. Must be Mr. Gallagher, Tommy remarked as the car drove off. It's happening all over the place. They're turning into monsters. Tommy! Eddie shouted, striding out of the house. Not one word. Angel frowned, eyeing the man closely as Rose and the doctor looked between him and his son. Get inside now. Sorry, I'd better do as he says, Tommy muttered, before turning and heading in. The doctor put his sunglasses on again and ran to his moped, kicking it into life. All aboard? Rose and Angel ran over, Rose hopping behind him as Angel started up her own. both of them driving off after the black car as it sped around a corner. Operation Market Stall! Go, go, go! The officer called into a radio. A metal gate opened at the end of the street, allowing the black car through and closing behind it as two men pushed a wooden market barrow in front of it and started sweeping. The Doctor and Angel rounded the corner, coming to a stop at the sight of the sweepers. Lost them, the Doctor muttered. How'd they get away from us? He looked over at Angel to see her standing up from her moped, frowning at the wall with a look on her face that clearly told him something was wrong. Not to mention he could feel the faint buzzing of her mind trying to work out whatever feeling she was getting at the moment. Their mental link was actually starting to come along a little more. He'd managed to get a sense of her mind, a faint pressure in his own when she tried to connect to it. He'd even managed to get a few words past her mental defences, and to her mind, sometimes even full sentences. However, she was still having a little trouble doing the same with him. She was getting closer though, he could just tell. She'd get it soon. They just needed that first connection, and then they'd be able to work on strengthening it, letting it grow. He couldn't wait. Surprised I didn't turn back and arrest you for reckless driving, Rose commented. Have you actually passed your test? Angel blinked and turned to Rose, almost incredulous. Have you seen him fly the TARDIS? The answer to that question was quite obvious to all. No, he had not. Rose laughed. Can I ride back with you instead? She asked Angel, poking the Doctor playfully. Men in black? The Doctor shook his head, ignoring them. Vanishing police cars. This is Churchill's England, not Stalin's Russia. Oh! Angel gasped, turning to the Doctor with wide, eager look in her eyes. Can we meet Winston Churchill? She pleaded. Please. You've met him, yes? You could introduce us all. He laughed and nodded. You're making quite the list, he remarked. She smiled. Well, I've never really been interested in learning about things other than TARDISes before. She reached out and took his hand. Till you, she told him. You make everything much more interesting. He started to smile. Usually much more dangerous than they should be, she added, making him bow, but much more fun. And I'm never scared, she admitted. He blinked. No? No, she shook her head, smiling softly at him as she squeezed his hand. I feel safe with you, and I know you'll protect me. You'll look out for me, like I'll look out for you. He smiled at that. That we will. Monsters, that boy said, Rose murmured, her gaze still on the sweepers, not having noticed their moment as she tried to work out herself what was going on. Maybe we should go and ask the neighbours. Pretty idea, Rose, Angel nodded. That's what I like about you, the Doctor smiled. The domestic approach. Thank you. Rose grinned, although something of the Doctor's words dawned on her. Hold on, was that an insult? Magpie stood before a number of televisions in his shop, staring at the one in the middle. I've finished it, as you've instructed, he said, laying a device that appeared to be a cross between a portable radio and a TV onto it. That's awfully good of you, Mr. Magpie. The woman appeared on the screen. So you'll go soon? Leave me? Oh, we'll see. You're a very good boy. Please. He grabbed his face. You're burning me. Inside. Behind my eyes. It hurts. Even my memories hurt. I just want things back like they used to be. Oh, but this world of yours is busy, 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 forging ahead into a brand new age. You can never go back. That's your tragedy. But now the time is almost ripe, Magpie. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. She laughed coyly. Or lady. Tommy approached the bottom of the stairs to the second floor nervously, climbing them as quietly as he could till he reached the top. He paused when the banging started again, glancing down at the shadows under the door of a room. Gran? He called, stepping closer with a key in his hand. Gran, it's me. It's Tommy. I'm gonna come in, Gran. Stand back. Just so... I'm sorry, but I've got to come in. What do you think you're doing? His father demanded, appearing behind him. Tommy spun around. We gotta try and help her, Dad. Give me that key, he demanded, but Tommy didn't move. I said give me that key right now. Tommy slowly walked towards him and held out the key. He snatched it and pocketed it, glaring at his son. Don't think I'm finished with you, he threatened. grabbing him by the scruff of his neck and pulling him down the stairs where his wife stood up from the sofa. All the warnings I've given you, and every time you've disobeyed me. We can't just lock her away. Excuse me, sunshine. I am talking, and you can forget that college nonsense. You're going to come and work alongside me. Get your hands dirty for once. Oh, Lord, Rita moaned as the bang sounded upstairs. Won't she ever stop? The bang continued again and again as Rita seemed near tears. There, Rita, my sweet. Eddie stepped up to her, putting a hand on her shoulder. Business as usual. Now, let's get these up all over the house. He gestured to a string of Union flags, in honor of Her Majesty. But Eddie, what if she's dying? She whispered. I am talking, he exploded. The room fell silence and Eddie calmed. That's better? A little bit of hush. And then a doorbell rang. Eddie tensed and strode to the front landing, opening the door to see the doctor, Rose, and Angel standing there, grinning at him. Hi, they said in chorus. Who are you then? Eddie eyed them suspiciously as Tommy appeared behind him. Let's see then, judging by the look of you, family man, nice house, decent wage, fought the war, therefore we represent Queen and Country. The doctor held up the psychic paper with a flourish. Just doing a little check of Her Majesty's forthcoming subjects for the great day. Don't mind if we come in. Nah, didn't think you did, thank you. He shoved past Eddie into the sitting room. Angel and Rose following, though Angel paused to cast a quick glance at the staircase. Not bad. Very nice. Very well kept. I'd like to congratulate you, Mrs. Connolly, Rita replied, timid. Hello. Angel shook her hand from the staircase and moved over to the woman, shaking her hand. Nice to meet you. Rita smiled a bit at the polite woman, shaking her hand as well. Now then, Rita, I can handle this. Eddie joined them in the room as well, Rita's smile falling. This gentleman's a proper representative. The doctor gave Rita a wink as Rose sat herself on an arm of the sofa, Angel stepping away from the woman and just looking around the room. Time on the wife? She rattles on a bit. Oh, maybe she should rattle on a bit more, the doctor suggested, as Tommy and Eddie both looked shocked. He just continued. I'm not convinced you're doing your patriotic duty. He glanced over at the flags lying in the box. Nice flags? Why are they not flying? There we are, Rita. Eddie glanced at his wife. I told you. Get them up, Queen and Country. The doctor looked sceptical as Rita started. I'm sorry. Get it done. Do it now. Hold on a minute, the doctor began. Like the gentleman says. Hold on a minute. You've got two hands, Mr. Connolly. Two big hands. Why is that your wife's job? He asked, feeling slightly disgusted by the man's attitude. Angel, for lack of a better term, was as good as his wife, and he would never, ever treat her the way this man was treating his wife, expecting her to just do all the housework, not even pausing to think to help, ordering her about, yelling at her. He actually felt a bit ill thinking of that. He respected Angel, loved her, too much to assume something like that. Marriage was a partnership in every sense of the word. And this man, he eyed Eddie, this man was treating it more like an ownership. Like he owed his wife. Like his wife owed him something. It was alright. It's housework, isn't it? And that's a woman's job. Of course it is. Mr. Connolly, what gender is the Queen? She was a female. And are you suggesting the Queen does the housework? He smirked, shooting a wink at Angel, making her blush a bit at his implication that she was his queen. Angel looked away, trying to lessen her blush, and over at Tommy who had started smiling as the doctor got the better of his father. No, Eddie shook his head. Not all. The doctor handed him the flag. Then get busy. Right, yes, sir. Eddie took the flags, feigning enthusiasm as he went to put them up. You'll be proud of us, sir. We'll have Union Jacks left, right, and centre. Rose got up, hands on her hips, as she faced the man. Excuse me, Mr. Connolly. Hang on a minute. Union Jacks? Yes, that's right, isn't it? Eddie looked back at her. That's the Union flag. It's the Union Jack, only when it's flown at sea. Tommy's smile grew into a full-blown grin as Angel winked at him when even Rose got the better of his father. Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologise, he muttered. Well, don't get it wrong again. There's a good man. Rose nodded. Now get to it. Eddie quickly turned back to the flags as Rose smirked at the Doctor and Angel. The Doctor moved over to the sofa, sitting on the side closest to the wall. As Rose sat on the other side, Angel was walking to sit on the arm of it beside the Doctor. Right then, the Doctor smiled. Nice and comfy at Her Majesty's leisure. He leaned over to Rose. You need a flag? Mum went out with a sailor. Rose remarked. Oh, he smirked. I bet she did. He looked back at the room. Anyway, I'm the Doctor, this is Angel. He wound his arm around her waist, and this is Rose. And you are? Angel turned to Tommy with a smile. She knew exactly what it was like to have someone having a conversation in front of you but not include you in it. Her father and sister would often be the same way, forgetting she was there or just not asking her opinion anyway. It hadn't really bothered her. Most of the time they'd talk about things she had no interest in, like politics or some other such topic. The only time she really forced her way into a conversation was when they discussed TARDISes, because that was not something she would just sit by and let them make decisions about. Not her TARDISes. It always felt like her father and sister seemed to forget the boxes were living creatures with souls of their own, so she took it upon herself to rise to their defense when the situation called for it. Tommy replied, a bit surprised to be included in an adult conversation. Nice to meet you as well, Tommy, Angel nodded. You too, Tommy smiled. The Doctor and Rose scooted further apart to make room for him to sit down with them. The Doctor called, well, sit yourself down, Tommy. Angel gestured to the other chair by the wall for Rita to sit as well, as they all turned to the television, save Angel, who was eyeing Rita intently. Have a look at this. I love telly, don't you? Yeah, I think it's brilliant. Tommy grinned. Good man, the Doctor nodded as they watched the program. Keep working, Mr. C. Mrs. Connie, Angel called quietly, leaning forward, putting a hand on Rita's arm in comfort. Tell us what's wrong. Did you say you were a doctor? Rita looked up at the Doctor. Yes, I am, the Doctor nodded. Can you help her? Oh, please, can you help her, Doctor? Now then, Rita, I don't think the gentleman needs to know, Ellie spoke up, overhearing them. No, the gentleman does, the Doctor argued. Rita suddenly burst into tears. Rose got up and moved to her side, sitting on the left armrest, wrapping an arm around her to comfort her, as Angel moved off her own armrest to kneel beside the woman, putting a hand on the woman's shoulder, rubbing it. We can't help you if you don't tell us what's wrong, Angel whispered softly, placing her other hand on Rita's, squeezing it, the Doctor smiling softly as he watched her. I'm sorry, Rose added encouragingly. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Rose added encouragingly, as Rita shook her head helplessly. Come on, come on. Hold on a minute, Eddie yelled. Queen of Country's one thing, but this is my house. He looked at the flags he was holding before throwing them to the side. What the hell am I doing? Now you listen here, Doctor. He strode forward to stand before the Doctor. You may have fancy qualifications, but what goes on under my roof is my business. All the people being bundled into, the Doctor began scathingly. I am talking. The Doctor stood. I'm not listening, he screamed in the man's face, furious. Now you, Mr. Connolly, are staring into a deep, dark pit of trouble if you don't let us help. Eddie stepped back, clearly shaken, as both Tommy and Rita looked scared of him, not sure what to do. So, I'm ordering you, sir, to tell me what's going on. Eddie floundered, trying to think of a reply, when the banging sounded upstairs once more. Everyone looked up at that. She won't stop, Eddie breathed. She never stops, does she? Angel asked, eyeing the man carefully. We started hearing stories, Tommy began to explain hesitantly, all round the place. People who've changed. Families keeping secret because they were scared. The police started finding out. We don't know how. No one does. They just turn up, come to the door and take them. Any time of the day or night. Show me, the Doctor said. Tommy nodded, standing and walking out the room, the Doctor following as Rose headed out with Rita, Eddie as well. Angel got to the bottom of the stairs when she hesitated, turning back and walking into the sitting room, looking at the TV worriedly as though waiting for something. Tommy led them down a corridor, towards a door at the end, opening it and peeking around cautiously. Gran? It's Tommy. He opened it wider, allowing the doctor and the others to see the darkened room, a silhouette of his grandmother standing by the window. Sorry, Gran, I brought help. He stepped in more and turned on a light to reveal his grandmother, standing there with no face at all. All the features gone, the skin just smoothed over. And that's the end of chapter 25. So, if you like this chapter, leave a like on the video, don't leave a comment, go leave a review, or comment on archive. Show the author some love. Before you go, be sure to subscribe. Upload new videos every Friday and Saturday. And I'll see you guys next Friday with a new video. Bye!